hear sound bites.
That's gonna be so good.
Oh, are you gonna do this scene?
Yeah, so
Let me tell you guys a little thing called driver's respect.
Trying to think what we can improv this scene about.
Long pause.
All right, you know what? Me and Mike will improv the scene of how
Driver's respect is
of how we can't believe that
the rules
Pat ditched the rest of his
not
dates,
really the rules of the road,
and
the
how
rules
we're
of the
gonna get
car that need to be
alcohol
followed.
for the big party.
Okay.
Ultimately, is
You think you can improv the
of
whole
the
scene?
utmost respect towards the driver.
We could try it. We could
and
shoot
or
for it.
owner.
All you gotta know is this: the girl that Pat's
Yeah,
dating, her name is Jill.
Let's start off with
My girlfriend's
one
name is
exception to
Vicky.
driver respect.
And
The one time
we're trying to
you can
figure
doubt
out how
the
we're gonna
driver
get alcohol,
and his decisions.
and we're gonna get alcohol through
as if
GQ.
it's someone else's car.
Or if it's illegal, correct?
That's gonna be GQ's character. GQ's character.
I didn't ask any help from the audience.
But try to let's try to drag it on. Like we'll talk about.
Let's say
Pat
we're
for a
going to
little
the cabin.
bit, and then you'll be like, "Oh, hey, how's Vicky?" And then we'll
we're on
talk
the way
about
there
that for a little bit.
And there's two
And then we'll
drivers.
be like, and then I'll be like, "How are we gonna get
This is
alcohol?"
a tough situation.
And then we'll
There's
go
two
through the whole
drivers.
one. We'll go through the
One
whole
driver
thing
wants to
together,
go to the cabin
and then eventually you'll
and
be
eat.
like, "I know."
The other
I know
one
this
says,
guy, GQ,
fuck this,
he's
I want to
gonna
go
get
to
us
McDonald's. If there's any disagreement between two drivers, the one driver that is driving everyone in his car can decide wherever he wants to go. Driver A wants to go to McDonald's. He could take himself and all his passengers to McDonald's and eat there. However, driver B still has the decision to go to the cabin and eat there. Because he can take his car wherever he wants.
First of all, if driver A wants to go to McDonald's and driver B wants to go to the cabin, driver A is retarded because the cabin on Monday nights is the shit.
Exactly. One
Driver
comment-
A, sorry to cut you off. Driver A should then be null and void because if it's a Monday night, driver A is null and void because it's half price pizza and buffalo wings at the cabin, and driver A becomes null and void because what idiot wants to go to McDonald's on a Monday night when it's half price pizza and buffalo wings at the cabin?
Okay, one thing.
What about driver C?
As CEO of the DRC, Driver Respect Corporation, there's one comment that I need to make about this situation. Driver A and driver B, alone, with no influence from anyone other than themselves, need to come to an agreement as to where to go. If they both agree to go to the cabin, and all the passengers want to go to McDonald's, let's say there's 8 passengers total that want to go to McDonald's, however, 2 drivers that want to go to the cabin. There's only one place where we can go, the cabin. The decision is up to the driver and the driver alone. Passengers have no influence on the decision of the driver.
What if one of the passengers decides that he wants to drive then?
Excellent question. No. Any other questions?
What about Mark?
What about Mark?
Doesn't Mark always disrespect the driver?
No, he doesn't always disrespect the driver. Actually, Mark has been learning his driver respect lately. And Mark is a great person to drive around, great friend, great person to have in the car because he's big. He could fuck anyone up. He's played years of hockey. Okay, alright. Alright, perfect situation. Driver A wants to go to the cabin. Passenger A, B, and C want to go to McDonald's. Passenger A, let's just, no one that we know, but let's just say passenger A has been pushing it for a while. He's a lot bigger than driver A. And he says, listen, if we don't go to the cabin, I'm going to fuck you up. And passenger A wants to go to the cabin. No, passenger A doesn't want to go to the cabin, and he says, listen, I'm going to fucking kick your ass. If anything like that happens, the straddling technique can happen, which is all the drivers will get together and try to kick the ass of the passenger who's disrespecting the driver. You see, let me put it down to you simply. The driver's like a parent. Not a parent like, man, it's apparent that Mike's naked. A parent that he has complete control over his kids, passengers. Alright. Think of a car as a family.
Focus on Mike.
Okay, think of a car as a family. Mike here, being the dad, aka driver, although he's senile and naked, driving around, let's say me. I'm clearly much more sane than Mike, and better looking. However, Mike gets to decide where we go. If Mike wants to go to a gay bar, and I'm straight, I have no choice but to go. Driver goes wherever he wants, when he wants, how he wants, where he wants. However, there's one situation where driver respect is not applicable. And that's when one of the passengers needs to go home. Yep. If a passenger needs... one thing. The passenger needs to make it clear at least 1 hour in advance that he needs to be home by a certain time. If he doesn't make it clear by that time, the driver can get him home or anywhere whenever he wants. One thing that'll change that the driver doesn't have to get him home, is if the driver picks him up from somewhere other than his house. Let's say Mike picks me up from Chris's house. Mike is driving me around all night. Mike has no obligation to get me home whatsoever. The only thing that he has to get me to is Chris's house. Return me to the starting point at which he obtained me in the first place. Now, although these are the clear rules, most times drivers are more lenient and will take the person home if necessary.
Mr. CEO, I have a question.
Dan, go ahead.
What if the person didn't know that they were supposed to be home, and they didn't tell anybody an hour in advance that they were supposed to be home, but they get an angry phone call from their mama or father or grandmother, whoever they live with, saying that they must be home at that time?
As CEO of the DRC, angry mother phone calls are complete void. It is up to the driver and the driver alone. However, if there's one situation in which the parent will overrule, that's when the parent is driving. Driver respect.
Mr. CEO,
Go ahead, Dan.
can I have a hit of the hookah?
Yes. Perhaps taking a hit of the hookah will give him another idea as to question.
Sweet.
I have a question for you.
Oh, go ahead, Michael.
That's badass right there.
What if the passenger in car A has to go to the bathroom?
Good question.
I'm not talking about number one.
Very good. Okay. All right. The difference between I'm going to answer not only that question but also number one.
All right, go ahead.
Number one and number two are two completely different situations. Here's the thing. If the beverage that makes the person have to go to the bathroom
Dan farted.
is consumed in driver A's car, driver A has the obligation to take that person to a bathroom if notified 5 minutes in advance as to when he has to go to the bathroom. However, number two is a completely different situation. You see? Let's say driver A has a rule. No food is to be consumed in this car. Which is very often the case.
In various cars, but most
yeah,
often.
Driver, you know.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
You and me have dealt with that on
Yes.
various accounts.
Yeah.
If driver A has the rule in which he can that no one is allowed to consume food and someone has to take number two while driving in the car, driver A has no obligation to take the passenger to a bathroom facility because the food was not consumed in his car. All right. I'm going to give you a completely different situation. This is where a completely different set of laws comes in. This is beyond my jurisdiction. Let's say driver A is driving around a female who happens to be dating passenger B. Driver A has complete jurisdiction over anyone in the car, including girls, and if he orders Roadhead, it must be delivered immediately from a female, especially if she's sitting in shotgun. However, let's say passenger A is a female, passenger B in the back is dating passenger A. Driver A has no decision to make her give him Roadhead because of one rule. That's the man law. It's beyond my jurisdiction. Tell him.
Man law. If a group of guys show up in a car, it is the responsibility of the driver to make sure that he gets all of his friends home safely. However, if the driver is hooking up with somebody that night, then it is the responsibility of the passengers to make sure that they get rides home. However, this decision is void if the driver is hooking up with his girlfriend.
Correct.
Then
Correct.
it is the responsibility of the driver to make sure that his friends get home safely.
Okay.
Man law!
Man law. Man law.
Man law.